All right, here on the Big Number, we are joined now by Portland Trailblazer feared defender, wing Toumani Camara. Dan, this is a first for us. We've got Toumani Camara on the show. He's a Belgian NBA player who's now, after a 52nd pick in the NBA, who has become one of the most feared dudes in the league. Toumani, thanks for hopping on with us.
Well, thanks for having me.
I do the broadcast where we run the numbers on Toumani Camara and all the different players, Dan, and the numbers that he comes up with, or the stats that he does, he makes my job very easy because Toumani Camara is second in the NBA in defensive stops. So we're adding his steals, his blocks that are recovered by the Blazers, and the offensive fouls that he's drawn. And he is second in the NBA, one of only two players who has more than 200 defensive stops this season. And Toumani, this is over 100 more stops than you had last season. So I'm wondering, what did you come into this year, Toumani, with a goal of a number of stops or being an elite stopper? What was on your agenda for this season coming into this, your second year in the NBA?
Yeah, I think for me it was just to try to have the most impact that I can have on the basketball court, whether it's defensively, offensively. I try to be a better person, better player, more experienced, more mature. And I feel like defensively I was struggling a lot. A lot of good offensive player was able to take advantage of drawing fouls and stuff like that. So I wanted to find a way to draw more offensive foul on my side. So yeah, I think I'm getting better at that every game.
Toumani, we talk on this show a lot about numbers as a way to sort of help tell the story of what's happening on the court, help explain for viewers what they're seeing game to game. But I know that the transition of numbers from coaches to players, sometimes that can be a little bit tricky. I'm wondering, are there things that your coaches really hit on, like stats or numbers that they really want you to pay attention to focus on, things that they think will help with, game planning or your player development? Any numbers or stats that they really focus on with you?
Not really. I wouldn't say number of stats. As of today is more try to be the best player I can be. I'll try to have an impact on the game. And they kind of let me be myself, try to let me make mistakes and learn from them.
So one of the stats that I've been tracking is you're one of only one player. You're the only player to guard both Nikola Jokic and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, the two frontrunners for MVP. Only player in the NBA to guard each of those guys for at least 50 possessions. So I'm wondering, Toumani, can you share with us what is the one thing you want to take away from Shai Gilgeous-Alexander when you're going against that dude? And then Nikola Jokic, who's completely different assignment, a center rather than the point guard. What are you trying to do with Jokic as opposed to what are you trying to do with SGA?
I would say with SGA, he's very shifty, plays a lot of one-on-one ISO, a lot of his mid-range, a lot of pump fakes, try to draw fouls and stuff like that. So the most important for me is try to stay in front of him, be solid, try to reach for the ball and stuff like that, because he has a very high IQ on that. And then, try to make other players make plays. Try to limit his possessions and then his touch. And same for Jokic. Try to make as soon as he crosses half court, try to be physical with him, not letting him get into his spots. But he's a big body. He's really hard to maneuver. But he's try to not let him breathe in a certain way. I feel like my speed and relentless, I think that's what kind of helped me against him for sure.
Well, building off that, those are obviously two of the toughest covers in the league, and that's the kind of assignment you've been drawing an awful lot this season. Here's another number that matches the eye test. You rank in the 99th percentile in average matchup difficulty. 99, very close to 100, right at the top of that list. Guys like Lou Dort, Dyson Daniels, and Toumani Camara. Walk us through what it's like to prepare for those sorts of challenges. What does it take, mentality, preparation, to get ready for that sort of challenge of dealing with the best of the best night after night?
To me, the most important is to enjoy it. I feel like it's such a nice thing to be able to go on the NBA court and every night you have a different monster you have to guard and try to limit his possession and try to make his day a little bit harder. So, I take a lot of pride in that. But yeah, like I said, I'm just trying to make winning plays, try to help my team win as much game as possible, and put ourselves in winning situation. And I'm able to have an impact on those players. I'm just keep doing that.
So Dan, Toumani has this nickname, The Box, where when Anthony Simons on the team playing announced to Toumani and the whole squad earlier this year that Toumani had been named the Western Conference Defensive Player of the Month. So he announces it, and all the players are like, box, and everyone's like clowning on Toumani. And I'm like, I don't know what that means or what's the origin story of the box, but Toumani, can you show the people what the box is, your celebration, the gesture that you do, and where did this come from?
Yeah, so it's just drawing a box, you know. But yeah, the first time I seen this was on a football field, watching a lot of DBs and stuff like that. Because I mean, I take a lot of pride in defense, but as a DB, as a corner, it's a completely different game. That's all you do. Try to stop somebody one-on-one, and you're really on an island the whole time against very fast, and it's all about athleticism and read the feet and stuff like that. So I thought it was very impressive. And football players always have great celebrations, especially because they have the helmets and stuff. So they try to find a way to, separate themselves from others. And the box was something that I never seen on the basketball court before. And me getting stopped and stuff like that, I feel like I need to try to find a way to identify myself with something. And that's the symbol that spoke to me the most.
We've had a lot of opportunities to do that, as Tom mentioned, all the stops that you've been generating this season. And the Blazers' top 10 defense since the beginning of January, like really rising up the charts with your young team there. I got to ask you about that one number that's part of that stops number, though, Toumani. 31. That's how many charges you've drawn this season, which leads the league by a lot. It's awesome to be great at something, but be honest, do you ever regret being great at that? Because that seems like it hurts.
Oh, not really. It used to hurt when I was first taking them, but it's all about preparation. The same way it's part of your game. The same way you shoot, you're gonna get a lot of shots. You're gonna focus on how can you be more efficient in that. So when I take charge, I kind of like learn how to fall and how to not really hurt myself. I used to wear tape on my wrist. If you look at me last year, I had a bunch of tape on all my hands because it was an adjustment. But being able to keep on learning and get my body stronger and stuff like that. It's not something that I'm afraid as of today.
What is the charge that you took that made you realize I got to change the way I fall? Was there one that sticks out to you that you just like got destroyed in a charge where you just took your body out on the floor?
It was probably in college. When I was at Georgia, it was me and Jackson Heder. He was one of our walk-ons, one of my close friends too.
It's always the walk-on. It's always the walk-on.
No, we were competing with each other to try to see who's gonna take the most charge all the time, and he was kind of pushing me to do that. And I feel like probably my first 2 years at Georgia was when it was really painful to take charges. But yeah.
Wait. You played with Anthony Edwards at Georgia. Did you ever take a charge against Anthony Edwards? And secondly, who would be a better DB, Anthony Edwards or Toumani Camara on the football field?
I think Anthony would not play. I don't think he would play DB. I think he'd play wide receiver or QB. He wouldn't let himself be DB, but I think I'll give myself DB for sure. But no, I was not allowed to take charge on him at practice. No, but I'm just playing. But I wouldn't do that. I try to not take charge in practice. It's kind of reckless. Sometimes my instincts just take over, but I try to not to do that.
So you mentioned one of the big jumps from year one to year two. You got to learn how to defend without fouling. You've cut that down. You're playing more minutes, but you're fouling less. You've made these improvements, and folks like us are fans that are on the outside to look and say he's improved his 3-point shot, or you could see he's working on his screen navigation. But that's where on the outside. What do you think you've gotten better at by made the biggest improvement at year one to year two, and kind of what's next for you as you look to continue to round out your game?
I'll say this past year, I think it's my maturity, just understanding the game better, being more patient in a lot of situations. I wasn't able to really work on my game this past summer because of my injury, the way I ended the season. So it took a lot of time off on me be able to work on myself. But I think it was at the same time needed from all the draft process and this crazy lifestyle. That was the first time for me to live. So it was a big adjustment. So it kind of helped me keeping my head cool. But I think my shooting got way more consistent. And I just keep on growing as an offensive player. I'm playing a different role that I ever played in my career, so it's a lot of adjustments, but it's a lot of games, so it helps me to grow throughout the season also. So, yeah.
Yeah, Toumani, can you explain what position did you play before you came to the Blazers, and why is this different than what you're used to?
I was kind of like a 4-5. So I was doing a lot of post-ups, guarding big mans and rebounding and setting screen, pick and rolls and stuff like that. So that's who I was. So it was a big adjustment for sure. But that's always who I wanted to be, guard, and kind of be able to play multiple position, depending on the matchup of the other team. Sometimes I'm gonna have to be a bigger guy and set screens and stuff like that, depending on matchups. And it's something I take a lot of pride in.
Which do you prefer, guarding up or guarding down, like dealing with the bigs or having to match step for step with some of those shiftier guards?
The guards that are shorter than me and very shifty, I think it's probably the hardest for me to guard.
Yeah.
I mean, it really depends on how my body feels that day, but
Yeah.
it's no, I like guarding all position. I just love to compete, be able to get on the floor and then try to not let somebody score. It doesn't matter what type of person they are. So yeah, just trying to adjust.
Do you think taking charges is a form of rim protection in the sense that, like, if you take a charge on a dude, you're not going to get a block and it's not going to show up really in the box score? But do you get the sense, Toumani, that after you step up for that charge, the opposing team is less likely to come down the key or think twice about if they see an open lane that they're like, ooh, Toumani might step up to take this charge? Do you see like an effect after you take a charge successfully in a game?
For sure. I start seeing people asking themselves more questions once they drive down the lane and see me coming on the help side. I feel like it's more hesitation and more looking to pass than try to go score. And also the biggest thing for me about charges is the turnover. It's automatically all ball coming down, so it's not really like a deflection or nothing like that. It's like a full on stop. And then we got the possession now. So I feel like that's why it's such a huge thing.
Do you think charges should be part of the box score?
Not as of today. I don't think enough people do it. I feel like it will be just a Toumani stats as of today, so I wouldn't do that.
Hey, you deserve that. Yeah, why not have a Toumani stat?
Yeah, well, like maybe one day, but we'll see.
Yeah, most boxes created. Yeah, there you go. We'll throw that onto the box score.
There you go.
Yeah, he's got box score. I mean, he's already got that trademarked. He's already got the. I mean, it's obvious that is what's named after Toumani Camara. Toumani, you're coming into the NBA, 52nd pick. You're drafted by the Phoenix Suns, and then a trade happens with the Portland Trailblazers. What was that like? Like, your entry into the NBA was also a very chaotic one where you're playing for Summer League. You have a chance to play with Kevin Durant and Devin Booker, and then all of a sudden you're moving to Portland. What was that like for you? And is it hard to imagine how far you've come in year two? You're already considered one of the best defenders in the NBA, named Defensive Player of the Month in the Western Conference. This has been a crazy 2 years for you.
Yeah, I think it was a very humbling experience. Make you understand the business you in right away. I mean, I was able to see the best of the best. I mean, Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal, Devin Booker. It was a bunch of talent around me as a rookie. And it was my first time meeting them, being their teammates and playing against them. So it was a crazy experience. Amazing for me to be able to experience that. And then we got back to reality a little bit, got traded, understand the business, and then just had another opportunity in another NBA team, another franchise that I see how I could have an impact in. So I just took that opportunity with all I could have. And I mean, the talent that we have here, all the rookies that was with me last year, and then Donovan that we got this past year. So, I mean, I'm very excited what we got going on here, and I can't be happier. Sure.
Yeah, Dan, like about a week ago, Toumani, you got to play against Dyson Daniels, and it seemed like, for me, it was fun to watch how different you guys are, but also you're two of the elite perimeter stoppers in the league. Did you ever talk to him on the floor or like have an extra chip on your shoulder just because you guys are considered two of the premier defenders in the league?
Yeah, for sure. I think maybe it was not as something that I really thought about, but I think unconsciously, like, it's something that, I wanted to prove myself a little bit. And then now we had T's back too, so it was good to have him. Also, it was a nice defensive game. So yeah, I don't think it's something that I really paid a lot of mind to. I just try to go out there and be the same person, try to be consistent in what I do. But yeah, it for sure brings a little bit more fire when you have somebody that they compare you to, or yeah, those type of situations.
for the purposes of say there's some folks like we're both on the East Coast. Maybe not everybody is staying up past their bedtime watching Blazers games. Give us the sales pitch on Deni Avdija. Tell people what they're missing and if they're not catching Deni Avdija right now.
They're missing a lot. They're missing a lot. I mean, it's a young guy that's getting better every game. Yeah, he can do it all. He can drive, he can guard, he can make the right play, make the right pass, and he communicates a lot with his teammates and stuff like that. So, yeah, I mean, I think the sky's the limit for him, and that's very excited to be able to have him on my team.
Do you take notes on the way he gets and ones? Like what not to do, because he is so good at getting guys, like he brings the ball out, Dan, and just like is like kind of James Harden in this way and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, where he brings the ball up and like dares the defender to swipe at it, and he is just going to get that bucket every time and get the call. So Toumani, do you watch Deni and how good he is at setting traps for the defenders and take notes on like, oh yeah, he's showing me what not to do as a defender?
For sure. And to me, it's his consistency. Every time down the lane, he's doing the same thing with a lot of patience and making the right play. And I feel like that's what's big. If you're doing something over and over and you're mastering it, it's really hard to stop, no matter what you can do as a defender. So yeah, it's very impressive. I learned a lot from him, and yeah, I think that's what we do. We learn a lot from each other. He's asking me a lot of things about my defense. I ask him a lot of things about his offense, and I idolize a lot of his game, the way he's patient in the paint and making reads. And no, it's just impressive what he's doing right now.
What's the quintessential Toumani Camara play? Is it a block? Is it a steal? Is it stepping up and taking a charge? Is it a 24-second violation where you just get a guy and completely trap him? Like when you think about your favorite play of this season, and we could like put it on a billboard for everyone to see, this is Toumani Camara in action. What's the play that sticks out in your head?
Man, that is so tough because I feel like my brain doesn't work like that. So I feel like I'm just trying.
I'll give you one, the Paolo Banchero block, where you go up, you have two of them in the same game. You go up with two hands and block them with two hands, and then on another play, you go up with one and just stifle them above the rim. Which one was your favorite block of the two?
Probably the second one, not the one in transition, but the one in half court. Just because it was after the first one, so it was kind of like, okay, I'm gonna try him again, and then I think that's probably my best block that I had for sure.
And then not so much trying after that. You've tried a couple times, and then not so much anymore.
Yeah.
All right, you got coming up here before you finish the season. You got LeBron, Luka, Steph. Which one are you most excited about to finish out the season in terms of a defensive assignment?
I haven't played against Luka in the Lakers, so I'm excited for that too. I mean, all of them really. Stephen Curry, I feel like last time we played him in Golden State, I didn't really do a good job on him. I was getting screened a lot, so it will be a nice matchup for me to end the season on. And same with LeBron and Luka. We haven't beat the Lakers, so being able to play against them and try to get one, I think is crucial.
Toumani Camara, folks, like I would be scared out of my mind having to go against LeBron and Luka and Steph, but this is a guy who like gets up for these sort of assignments, and that's I think refreshing for fans to hear, is that like they love playing defense. Toumani Camara, one of the best in the NBA to do it. Toumani, good luck for the rest of the season, and 231 defensive stops. That's the big number for Toumani Camara. Damn. Thanks so much, man.
Thank you for having me, man. Have a good one. Appreciate y'all.